I really need a haircut.
You see my fucking hair?
Yeah, but
my hair goes down to my eye, like down here when I flatten it. Yeah, yours probably about the same length as mine.
So this is my new series called Tea Time with Neil. Basically, I'm going to be sitting here with a cup of tea, interviewing the legends of COD, montage making, COD 4, just COD in general, the ones that we all know and love. And obviously I thought I'd start with Dan, because someone that I've got to know pretty well over the last few months, being in Never Noble, and one of the, biggest names out there, isn't it, really? So,
well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, my goal in these is just to... The goal in these is to sort of ask the questions that you don't hear in like every interview. So I want to try and get an insight into essentially what you're like outside of COD, but also, you know, some of your opinions and stuff. So let's kick it off. I'll start with an easy one. So from the beginning, what was the first game that you ever played?
Oh, mate, what as in first game
ever? First ever video game.
Oh, mate, you put me on the spot. Probably Street Fighter. I don't know if you guys remember Street Fighter.
I remember Street Fighter.
Mate, this was like 90, 95, 96. Probably on like the Sega Mega Drive or something. That was probably the first one I ever played. Probably along with like Sonic, your typical Sonic, Crash Bandicoot games. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get into first-person shooters until later on when the Xbox come out and things like that. Wasn't a massive, wasn't like a massive FPS player on the PS1 and the older consoles.
Yeah, I mean, when sort of shooter games first started coming out, I was never that interested in them. I was always more interested in like FIFA, because I'd always played football when I was growing up, and so I was always like FIFA 98, FIFA 99 on the PS1. Triangle to sprint is the one thing I remember that game being like horrendous for, which was quite funny. Yeah, like, I think that
made a good point, to be fair. I should say GoldenEye. That was actually one of the first
GoldenEye
ones. Yeah, when I was at school, I used to go to my mate's house and play that all the time. That was the don of all games back then.
What was the one I used to play? I think the one I used to play was on the GameCube, and it was James Bond Nightfire. And you could you had like bot lobbies in it, and you could do like the split screen against all the bots. That was like sitting at the back of the map with a sniper, just like hard scoping the whole game. It was fucking great. Me and my friends spent many hours playing that. Absolutely quality solid game. All the James Bond games were quality back in the day.
Do you remember? Was it Siphon Filter?
Siphon Filter? No, I don't think so.
Or was it Time Crisis? Was it Time Crisis?
Time Crisis is the one that you see in all the arcades, isn't it? That's in like every arcade everywhere. I remember people used to have, because I never had it myself, but I know like people used to have like the guns and stuff for their PlayStations.
Yeah, I used to have one. The really crappy grey one for the PS1 with the buttons on the side.
Oh, mate.
That's where it all started, mate. That's where it all started.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what.
360s in your front room.
I'll tell you what, when you start talking about games like that, it just makes you think back to like Super Nintendo and fucking Commodore 64. I think the first console that I played on was the Commodore 64. And I had this game. It was like a Mario-esque game. It was called Flimbo's Quest or something like that, but you played it with a joystick. Yeah. And it was like literally just run along the 2D map. You run along collecting the coins. But I must have played that when I was like 5 or 6 years old. I was quite young, because that was when my sister was still living at home, and she's 11 years older than me. So I mean, yeah, that's going back quite a way.
Yeah. How old are you, by the way, Neil? You're what, 20, mid-20s?
Go on, have a guess at the risk of insulting me.
23.
Oh, you're just being nice now, aren't you? You're just 24. Being nice. Nah, 27.
You look young, man. You look proper young.
I know, baby face, mate. Proper baby face. Everyone, like, you know what? The amount of times I've at work been told, you know, oh, you look like an apprentice, like first year apprentice. I'm like, yeah, but you know.
Yeah, but I'm not. So.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what. One funny story I was working, because when I was about 15, 16, I started working with my dad, and I worked with my dad for a couple of years until I was probably about 17. It was up through my college years. And one day, so we was doing this refurb, like an extension for somebody, and I think I was in the hallway stripping wallpaper, and I heard a knock at the door, so I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just answer it, because I'm stood right next to the door, and a guy opened the door, and the guy's there, and he's like, oh, is your mum or dad in? And I was so confused, because I was like, I'm working here. But obviously, even back then, I used to look like 3 or 4 years younger than I was. So when I was like, I was probably about 16 when it happened. I probably looked like 13, 14. But the thing is, I was like, I mean, I am in work clothes. So, I mean, who lounges around in fucking full work gear, you know? I don't know many people that choose to sit in fucking steel toe cap work boots and fucking work trousers.
Yeah, right. Carrying a hammer drill around.
Oh, yeah, just love carrying me SDS around for fun, mate, me. Love it. I'm 26 tomorrow. Deezo, happy birthday tomorrow, mate.
26 tomorrow, Deezo.
Getting old, mate, getting old. So, what was your first capture card? Was it a Dazzle?
My first original capture card was the Easy Cap. I don't know if you remember the Easy Caps.
I remember the Easy Cap.
I could
mate.
not get working for shit. Like, I remember my dad bought it for me. I was like, obviously, I played, I don't know if you guys know, but I played Call of Duty for like 22 days playtime on COD 4 before I even started recording for montages. So from when it got released 2007, I played a lot of like game battles and all that sort of stuff. And then I started getting into the obviously the sniping side of it. So I asked for an Easy Cap because it was obviously the cheapest option back then. I was like 15. So my dad bought it for me, and it took like a week to try and set up in color because obviously I don't know if you guys ever used an Easy Cap, but it was the most hideous capture card ever. It's like this tiny little black, almost like I don't even know what it looked like. It was like a little dongle, and you plugged it in, and it was always in black and white. I could never get it working. But yeah, that was the first one, and then I moved on to the Dazzle Platinum, which I'm guessing pretty much everyone in here must know if you're from around back in them days. But
everyone knows a Dazzle, mate. Everyone. I'm like the only person in the COD scene that hasn't owned a Dazzle. I never owned one. I had an Easy Cap and then went straight to PVR because I didn't start recording until 2009, and then I got my PVR in 2010. So I had the Easy Cap for a while. The Easy Cap caused me one of like the biggest fails in my life. So I didn't realize, because the Easy Cap was actually my friend's, and he gave it to me because I was saying to him about like wanting to record and stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, I got an Easy Cap," and I was like, "Oh, can I borrow it for a bit and whatever?" So brought it around and set it up, but we didn't have the splitters. But at the time, I didn't realize you needed the splitters. I thought you had to play off the preview window on the PC, which on the Easy Cap software, I don't know if you remember, was literally like a 3-inch by 3-inch box.
Yeah, it was.
And it had like a 2 or 3 second delay. So I'm sat there like right in front of the screen like that, and I'm thinking, I'm sitting there like, how the fuck do people hit clips on this? Because it's like the smallest screen in the world, and there's like that few second delay, and I'm thinking, no, man, there's got to be something wrong here. And then a few days later, he came back with the splitters and was like, yeah, mate, you need the splitters.
I remember when I swapped from that Easy Cap to the Dazzle. I remember I couldn't record because obviously I was recording with the Easy Cap, but we tried swapping over to the Dazzle. So my dad was trying to set it up for me because I was useless back then with computers and stuff. Like I was 15, just left school. And I remember he was like, well, you can play, but obviously like, well, you're not going to be recording. So I was like, I'm not going to play. I'm going to hit something if I play. So I ended up thinking, you know what, I'm just going to play one game. You know, I feel like playing. I'm going to play one game. I hit probably the best clip I ever hit in that one game I weren't recording. And this was like early 2008 on Downpour. I hit like a 360 off of the barn roof bit. You know that tin bit on Downpour?
Yeah.
360 headshot, like literally near enough across the map.
Oh my!
It was
God.
like the most. I literally was so angry at the time.
That is like that is the curse, though, isn't it? As soon as you get to that point where you start recording, as soon as you don't record, you hit something. Mm-hmm. That's just I think everyone has done it. We've all done it. I think that is just one of the things that it just happens. It's like you can't. There's no like getting out of it. It's just if you don't record, you don't play. Just don't play if you can't record.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, the good thing is it's not as bad now because obviously you get like in PlayStations and Xboxes, they now come in with built-in capture cards and stuff, which is a quality idea. I love that, especially with like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox Series X. Now you can record in like 60 FPS and stuff, and it's solid. The thing is, as well, it gives people that wouldn't necessarily have had the chance to record, a chance to and upload their clips and show their mates and stuff, which I think is cool.
This is why it's so hard now to become such a big content creator, because like it's so everyone can do it now. You ain't got to invest money into it. Well, unless you want to make it professional, you got to invest your money into it. But I feel like it's just so easy to do now.
Oh
Like
yeah,
anyone,
100%.
all my friends are making content now, and they've never owned or heard of capture cards before.
Well,
You
that's
know?
it. The thing is, if you've got a bit of know-how on a computer, like anyone can download Sony Vegas. So if you've got a PlayStation, I can record my clips on the PlayStation, save them to like my Facebook, download them onto my computer from Facebook, and then whack them in Sony Vegas. And you can make a montage or videos and stuff, and you don't even need a capture card, or you know, you need a half-decent laptop or whatever that will run Sony Vegas, which is
Exactly.
like, it's crazy. It's mad the lengths that you had to go to back in the day to actually get your clips on your PC. Like I remember when I first wanted to start recording, I think I was in high school and I was asking a couple of like people that played COD as well how you record, and they were like, "Oh, you have to get a capture card." And in my head, when they said capture card, I assumed it was like some sort of like memory stick, and I was thinking, how the fuck would that work? Because it's not a card, is it? It's it's a box, and I was thinking capture card. I'm thinking, what, you put a memory card in your PlayStation or something? This is weird. But like, yeah, that was one thing. It took me a little while to get to the point where I was like, okay, this is what I have to do after many hours of YouTube.
It was all new back then. Like all of this was brand new back then.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
like recording gameplay back then was like to get good quality. I remember when the PVR first dropped, and I remember seeing NSL with it, and it was like the most unheard. Like you watched it, and you're like, oh my god, like the +5s in the middle of the screen, they're like crisp.
yeah.
They're like the kill feed looks beautiful.
That is the one when NSL was it Legendary 2.0, the first PVR one. Yeah. Like I remember when that came out, and that was fucking like just looked like chef's kiss. Oh, it was beautiful. Like I remember seeing as well. I remember when I first watched Regenesis, thinking how fucking clean the quality looks on that, and I was looking at my PVR like, what? Like, so I don't know if you've ever seen. I don't know if you've been on my channel and seen my first montage that I made, Relentless. That was recorded with a PVR, but I didn't have Sony Vegas at the time, so it was all rendered in Movie Maker. So if you look at the quality, it looks like Easy Cap. It's fucking disgusting.
Good old Movie Maker.
Windows Movie Maker was the boy. But yeah, that was... oh, mate. It just goes to show, like, what... You know, back in them days, no one really had a clue. They just fucking done it. You just sort of bodge it. Yeah, exactly. Bodge it, make it good.
Yeah. Like, it had to be done back then. It had to be done.
It did.
Like you had, everyone was self-taught back then. There was no like, you know, there was a few tutorials on how to do it, but if it didn't work for you, you couldn't just find another video.
Oh yeah, like back then there weren't like if you go on YouTube now and like say, oh, how do I use OBS to stream? There is hundreds of thousands of videos on there. Yeah. Like back then, nothing, mate. You suss it out yourself or you don't record. Simple as that.
Exactly.